Hi there, my name's Andy Young and I'm one of the automotive lecturers down at Unitec in Auckland, New Zealand. And this is one of my basic skill, sort of foundation skill videos. And this one's going to cover how to back probe. Now it sounds painful, but it's not. Back probing is something we need to do to get voltage readings, signal outputs and so on when we're dealing with electronic devices. We can't just simply unplug the unit from the loom and then take some measurements. Normally we've got to keep the sensor or the actuator in circuit. Now back probing involves getting a pin, and these things are really cheap. You get a little pin and we insert it into the back of the plug, and then we can connect onto the pin lead wires and so on to run oscilloscopes and multimeters and things. In this video I'll show you, I've got a bike just behind me on the hoist, and I'll show you how to back probe one of those plugs on the loom and how to get a voltage reading from that. Okay. Let's say on this Yamaha MT-03 we've got, just on the airbox, very easy to access, is the air temperature sender, and we can take that out of the airbox and you can see here, look, that's the actual sensor. Now here the sensor has got two wires going to it, and the yellow wire is the signal output wire, and that's the one we're going to back probe. To actually back probe, you get your needle and your little pin, and you've got to go down between the insulation of the wire and the foam seal at the end of that connector, and you can see it's just going down on its way down, and you may find that it's a little bit resistant. You'll have seen me back probe on a number of videos previously, and easy with the pliers actually. There you go. So don't force it, it will go down when it's ready. There we go. Okay, so now from that we can then connect pickup. Now remember, the yellow wire with a white tracer on this particular bike is the signal output. So the ECU is still going to be receiving the signal it needs to get. We've actually tapped into that without damaging any of the insulation or having to unplug the plug from the sensor itself. Okay, so that's how you back probe. So there you go, you can see the pin. If I take the unit back out again, see quite clearly the pin going down the side of the insulation, between the insulation of the wire and that little blue sealant plug. That's sort of like a rubbery foam kind of material, and you've got to go down between the two and keep pushing that pin down until it actually makes contact with the little crimp terminal on the inside of that plug. And if you're careful, you can do this without causing any damage whatsoever to the vehicle. Okay, so now let's see if we can get a voltage just for the hell of it. Okay, so we've got the positive lead off the multimeter onto the back probe pin that we've installed, and we've got the negative probe of the multimeter onto basically the bike's earth, which is somewhere on the frame. To get a really accurate signal reading, we should be on battery negative. But for this particular demonstration, just off the frame somewhere, a good earth on the engine casing is fine. So we turn on the ignition, and you'll see that we've got a voltage reading output from that sensor of 1.93 volts DC. Now remember, this is an air temperature sensor. So if I take the sensor back out and put it in my hand, which will warm the sensor up, we should see a change of voltage. Sensor out, and now it's in my hand, and the sensor is starting to warm up, and you can see very clearly that voltage is starting to diminish. So as temperature rises, the voltage drops. There you go. And if I let go of the sensor again, it starts to warm up due to the ambient temperature. You should start to see that voltage start to rise again. So they're inversely proportional on this particular sensor. temperature increases, the voltage decreases. As temperature decreases, the voltage increases. And by using a back probe technique, we're not taking anything out of circuit. So there you go, that's the simple task of using one of these pins to back probe. And that allows the ECU to continue to monitor that particular sensor and receive a signal from it whilst the engine's running, and then we can actually tap in there and we can branch off a signal to our oscilloscope or our multimeter, so we can see in real time what's going on without triggering any kind of fault code to the ECU. As soon as you unplug a sensor and turn on the ignition, hey presto, you're normally going to flag a fault code, and then you've got to clear that, and of course the ECU is going to revert back to fixed tables rather than taking on board all the real-time information that should be coming in. And really this is back probing is just part of, it's a given, you have to do it when diagnosing faults on electronic fuel injection systems. Okay, oh by the way, these little pins are available at any sort of $2 store. I think I bought 3 of these wheels for $2. Absolute bargain, lasts for years. Of course everybody else asks to borrow the pins if you have any, and you'll never see them again, so buy plenty of them. Okay, so hope you found that video helpful. My name is Andy Young. I'm one of the automotive lecturers down at Unitec in Auckland. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down the bottom. If you felt the video was helpful and it showed you what you needed to know, then please tell me, leave a comment. And if you want to, subscribe up at the top, and then that way you'll receive notifications of any new videos that hit the channel. That's about it really. Thanks for watching. Cheers for now, over and out.